Hi, Michael. Thank you very much. Well, entertainment certainly at the Big Q, a.k.a. the Murph. John Elway, 3 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions. Last time he threw 4 interceptions in a game, you have to go back to the 80s. But the Broncos are halfway to becoming only the 4th team to start an NFL season at 12-0. The Chargers certainly, though, are game. Stick around. Well, Denver, as you know, had already clinched the division by virtue of Oakland's loss today. Minnesota had clinched a playoff berth. You would have gotten long odds at the beginning of the year if you said the 3rd team to clinch the playoffs would be the Atlanta Falcons. But here we go in the fastest 3 minutes.
We're at the half in San Diego where the Broncos trying to become the 4th team ever to go 12-0. And, Joe, the first half storyline was pretty simple.
Yeah, it was
throwing the ball to the wrong guys.
It's one word. It's called picks. Interceptions. The first one, Darian Gordon off of Craig Wheelahan. Then John Elway comes back. Charles Dimry does a terrific job of picking this one out of the air. It's Wheelahan's turn by Darius Johnson. Dimry again does a good job of reading Elway's eyes. Then we go down the field to Greg Jackson. Mobley just before the half picks it off. It has been a story of field position resulting in interceptions, and it has the Broncos ahead 21-10.
The thing about it is the Broncos have taken advantage of the interceptions where San Diego hasn't.
If I'm San Diego's defense, I have taken the ball away from the #1 rated offense in the NFL 4 times, and my offense is giving it right back to them. Got to be frustrated. Gator on the return. Slips a couple of tackles, slips another one, 2 more, and got it out near the 29-yard line. Let's go to Solomon Wilcott. Solomon.
Thanks, Mike. Talk to San Diego head coach June Jones. He feels like his team squandered some golden opportunities to take advantage of some Broncos miscues. Felt like they should have more of the show after forcing the 4 turnovers in the first half. He said they won't change a thing here in the second half. They will continue to throw the ball with Craig Wheelahan.
All right, Solomon, thanks very much. And June Jones, I'm certainly aware that his defense is going to have to get some more turnovers to get them back in the ballgame. Terrell Fletcher is in at running back as we start the 3rd quarter. Wheelahan short set, trying to scramble. And goes down, losing a couple. Take a look at the first half stats from San Diego. And amazingly, the San Diego Chargers out-dueling the Denver Broncos. Denver with only 44 yards rushing and a huge time of possession ahead for San Diego.
Well, that whole thing boils down to points after takeaways, right, and that's where it's at.
2nd and 12. Fletcher. Just can't make that many moves in the backfield and hope to get much out of it.
You know, Joe Wheelahan talking to you the other day when he said, you know, our defense, as well as they play, Denver's going to score some points. On offense, we have to score a lot of points.
They're not going to be able to do it if Maha Tanavasa plays like he does. Watch him take the inside, number 98. He takes the hard inside on Freddie Jones, not allowing Fletcher to go anywhere. Gordon fills the lane perfectly from the outside. Watch on the left part of the screen. There's Darian Gordon, makes the play.
3rd and 12 for Wheelahan. Blitz from the corner. Wheelahan on the roll, throws underneath to Still. Can't get the first down as Crockett takes him out of bounds at the 37.
I will say this, though. If you're the San Diego Chargers, you have to feel good about the fact that something positive at least happened on that series and not negative. Now you get the better half of your football team out on the field, your defense.
Yeah, something positive. They're positively going to punt.
What's positive?
Darian Gordon will go deep for Bennett's kick.
Always looking for that silver lining.
Well, after 4 turnovers in the first half, 3 and outs, not bad.
Wow.
What a kick by Bennett. Gordon at the 12. Takes a couple of shots and goes down. And there's a flag down on the play back near the line of scrimmage. Burgess on the tackle. And there's a flag back at the 10, which would indicate a block in the back or holding.
See, when you have flags like this in 2 different places, this is what you call choices.
Oh, okay. They're either choices or offsetting.
Mike Shanahan, as prepared as any coach has ever been in the history of the National Football League.
Ineligible man downfield, number 56 kicking team. That penalty is declined. We have an illegal block. Number 86 on the return. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
So Denver gets the football, but they're backed up deep in their own territory. Back in a moment.
It's an idea that's been around for...
The Broncos have won the last 29 games when leading at the half. That's the longest streak in the NFL. Let's see if they will put Terrell Davis to work here. He was limited to 32 yards on 9 carries in the first half.
I think offensively you have to get Terrell Davis involved in this game. You can't just play a field position game with these Chargers because they can score points.
Elway, the first time in 7 years he's had 3 picks in the first half. Davis gets it out to the 9. Sayal missed the tackle and is upset with himself. Had him in the hole.
Well, he missed the tackle because Howard Griffith got a piece of him, but Junior Sayal is so strong and so quick. He actually did get in the hole, but you're looking at another guy that's strong and quick, and that's Terrell Davis. Howard Griffith, 29 on Sayal. You see him, he gets a piece of him, but it's really hard to pull Terrell Davis down by yourself.
And Griffith is a terrific lead blocker. Elway to throw. Nobody to go to now. Late over the middle to Shannon Sharp. Sharp out to the 19 for a first down. Steve Tovar makes the tackle as he passes our 1st and 10 line. And the first catch of the night for Shannon Sharp, who came into the weekend leading all tight ends in the NFL in both catches and yards.
I really feel like the emergence of Ed McCaffrey in this offense has taken away from a little bit of the production of Shannon Sharp. But you certainly can't ignore Shannon, or else he is going to hurt you.
3 great weapons with Sharp, McCaffrey, and Smith to go along with Davis. Terrell Davis back to work on the ground. Picks up maybe 6. Let's go to Solomon Wilcots.
Thanks, Mike. I talked to Mike Shanahan at halftime. He said he's not disappointed with his team's 4 first-half turnovers. He said he is happy with the 21 points despite the poor play. I asked him if he'd said anything to John Elway after throwing the 3 interceptions. Said didn't say a thing. I know he will play much better here in the second half. Mike?
Yeah, he knows it's not going to show up on his Hall of Fame bust.
You know what he said to him? Don't do that anymore.
And John probably listened. Elway short set. Smith caught that one in front of Dimry. Nice grab. It was tipped.
Well, great concentration by Smith. Rod Smith does just a wonderful job of focusing on this ball.
Well, number 96, Norman Hand, is a guy that gets in. You said he's been playing well all year. Watch 96. He's going to tip the ball. He's right there. He jumps up, tips the ball. But again, the concentration.
Watch him go up and focus on it. Thrown a little bit like a screwball behind him and comes down with it.
Another 1st and 10 Denver. Fuller comes across into Harry Swain.
False start. Number 74. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And the 12-year veteran out of Rutgers flagged for 5.
You know, when you talk about Terrell Davis, and we had a wonderful visit with him yesterday, and you sit there and you talk about a guy, you talk about unselfish. He was in a game where he had 191 yards, and they had, what, a half a quarter to go, and they said, you want to get 200? It's not important. And you talk about he's going for Dickerson's record. Is it important? It might be nice, but it's not important if we win.
He's a special person and a special athlete. 1st and 15 for Elway. Draw play to Davis. And Marco Coleman got him.
The one thing about continuing to pound Terrell Davis is you just know somewhere, he's like Barry Sanders, you just know somewhere if you give him the ball 10 or 15 times, he might be able to break a big one. That's why Gary Kubiak and Mike Shanahan, I think, want to keep on feeding him, keep the clock moving, but sooner or later he's going to break a big one.
And look at his record. His average per game better than anyone else in NFL history. Those are the only 3 guys over 100. 6th-round draft choice out of Georgia. Elway throws behind Smith, but he made the catch up at the 47-yard line. Diving grab for the first down. Much more rhythm in Denver's offense here.
I like Terrell the way he runs with the ball and catches the ball. Well, you want to see Terrell blocking on a blitz. And look who's blitzing. Here comes Terrell. Junior Seau knocks him out of the hole. John Elway's got the room to step up and throw.
Chargers playing without 2 starting linebackers, 3 guys in the secondary, and still giving Denver fits with their defense. Davis on the toss sweep, cuts it back. He runs so hard. Players who try to tackle him say he can't be just 210. That's what he's listed. He hits like a guy who's 240, 250.
This is a little bit like the pre-play we showed you in the first half. Watch what happens. He's going to start out to the right. You're going to see this part of the line seal and this one do it here, and he's going to come back up inside. Backside slides and seals. There comes the hole. There's the little crater that's created. Moves right on through.
He and Griffith work so well together. He knows where Griffith is going to be every time. Davis again, hit in the backfield by Seau. There's that aggressive defense. Just try to shoot every gap and make a play.
Well, if you're the fullback and you're Howard Griffiths, the first guy you want to make sure where he is number 55, Junior Seau. And don't go someplace else to block if someone else hasn't blocked him first. Number 55 is Junior Seau. You see Griffiths go through. He goes to the outside. Seau comes to the inside. Nobody blocks him.
But in defense of Howard Griffith, that play is designed to go outside. Seau does such a great job of shooting the gap, he never has a chance to get out into the flow.
John Elway wants to talk it over with 7:40 to go third quarter. To you by NASCAR 99 from EA Sports, by Miller High Life, by Lee Dungarees, Can't Bust 'em, by Paul McGuire, Solomon Wilcots, our entire ESPN crew with you from San Diego, where the Broncos, trying to remain undefeated, lead by 11 and face a 3rd and 5. 4-man rush. Elway to run for it, and has it. Elway easily across the 1st and 10 line, and a new set of downs for the Denver Broncos. He can still do it, can't he?
Awareness, awareness, awareness.
That's what it is. He knows exactly where he has to go, saw where our 1st and 10 line was, saw where the first down marker was, and just slides and picks it up. You come up the field hard like Fuller does on him, doesn't matter. He'll step up inside, makes a good, quick decision, slides to protect himself.
John Elway has rushed for over 3,000 yards in his career. Straight back to throw, flushed by Fuller again. Can't run this time, dumps it off, incomplete. Had a receiver right there as Fuller had a hold of him.
Pass incomplete.
Doesn't make any difference. He's outside the tackle, and he threw the ball at the first down marker.
William Fuller and number 96, Norman Hand.
John Elway, more wins than any other quarterback who has ever played the game, 145. Last week, he passed the 50,000-yard barrier, second only to Dan Marino. 3rd tonight in touchdown passes. As he broke a tie there, he still trails Marino for number 1. Flag is down. Elway dumps it for Davis, and he can't get it.
And one of the most exciting things about doing what we do is to watch a legend play
Absolutely.
the game, and that's exactly what he is.
Illegal hands to the face. Number 76, defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's Jamal Williams, a rookie out of Oklahoma State. Would have brought up a 3rd and 10.
Joe Pascal, the defensive coordinator, trying to call the right plays.
76 is Williams. Do you think this is hands to the face? Hands to the neck, then the face.
Inside
in
the
your
mask.
face.
When they go inside the mask, you have no argument. Play action by Elway. Dumps it underneath, and Dwayne Carswell, the 260-pound tight end from Liberty, picks up some good yardage.
You know what I said? Awareness, awareness, awareness. John Elway was looking all the way down the field. He had Sharp coming across. He had other people. And then he just said to Carswell, step up just a little bit and let me throw you the ball.
Well, they hurt you in so many ways. You saw San Diego blitz John, put a lot of pressure on him. Okay, so Shanahan says, fine, you want to bring him? We'll just move him. Shannon Sharp's going down the field. There's Carswell right out in front of him. Really simple little dump, and you pick up 15 yards.
Mike Shanahan with an exceptional offensive mind, and he has helped engineer this drive, which has taken more than 6.5 minutes off the clock. We talked about how organized he was. He had the first 8 training camp speeches already prepared before he left for camp. That's just the kind of a guy he is. He's ready.
Yeah, but I love that yesterday Joe says to him, all right, Mike, you know, you had your speeches prepared. How about one for 11-0, going for 12-0? He said, I never thought about that.
I asked him, and also I said, well, what about the one for being undefeated? He said, I never thought about that one either.
He's coming up on the time he's going to have to think about it, and he's used it as a motivation for his team.
I think what separates him from a lot of coaches in his league is his attention to detail and the preparation that his football team goes through to get ready to play.
Another first down, Denver. Davis on the toss. Nowhere to go. He'll lose a yard. NFL football exclusive networks for prime time NFL football. And here tonight in San Diego, watching perhaps a piece of history as Denver tries to become the 4th team ever to go 12-0. Elway on 2nd and 11 underneath to Sharp, and he's wrapped up immediately by Jerome Williams, second-year defensive back out of Houston.
There are different places in a game where the plays are very critical. This next play is extremely critical for San Diego on defense. If they can stop them and allow Denver just an opportunity to try a field goal, then they keep the team in the game. If they pick up the first down and the defense doesn't stop them from scoring, it's just about over.
They're within Elam's range. Of course, when they come out of the locker room, they're within Elam's range. 3rd and 8. Here comes Junior. Doesn't get there. Elway with a lot of time. Smith, touchdown. There's a flag down on the play. In fact, there are 2.
Rod Smith, penalty flags on the field.
Well, they threw Rodney Harrison and company threw Shannon Sharp on the field. Now, was it against Sharp?
Jerry Markbright and his crew talking it over.
They're also thinking about Rod Smith possibly pushing off and having offensive interference.
And you're right, this is a huge turning point in this game.
We have 2 fouls on the play. We have holding, number 37 defense. We have offensive pass interference, number 80 offense. Penalties offset. Replay, 3rd down.
Rodney Harrison called for the hold. Rod Smith for the interference.
Rod Smith is matched up on Jimmy Spencer, number 22. You see him at the top of the screen. He runs down and just pushes Jimmy Smith out of the way, goes back to the corner, winds up catching the ball in the end zone.
Then Rodney Harrison, here he is on Shannon Sharp. Look at this. That's a takedown. That is a takedown.
I'd say those were 2 pretty decent calls there.
Yanked him right out of his shoe.
So we do it all over again. 3rd and 8. Junior doesn't blitz this time. Elway with all day to throw. Still can't find anybody. Still can't. Now to the end zone. Sharp, touchdown.
There's one I do not believe. I am so glad I'm here watching it.
Scott Turner was right there. It looked like it went right through his hands.
Well, it all starts with the protection, and John Elway has a lot of time to throw the ball, but he also escapes. Right there he escapes.
And then Shannon goes up and keeps working. Look at what he does. He just never stops working. Never stops working. Turner, he takes a peek. The ball goes up in the air. Look at just with his hands. You just can't ignore Shannon Sharp.
Elam for the point after.
Extra point is good.
And the Denver offense comes through. They have taken a 28-10 lead on San Diego. John Elway and his offense. 8 minutes, 20 seconds off the clock. They went from their own 5-yard line and scored in 14 plays. Shannon Sharp got to run free in the secondary forever with Scott Turner chasing him and got the touchdown. Now San Diego in a lot of trouble. Wheelahan against the blitz, throws it away.
John Elway did what he does so well, buying time on this last play. I'm going to count for you just so you have an idea how long Scott Turner had to stay with Shannon Sharp. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seconds. You're asking a defensive back to stay with the receiver, and it's just impossible to do it. I keep saying this. You've got to put pressure on John Elway. You can't just rush 4 people, or else he's going to pick you apart.
Elway with a Jekyll and Hyde night. 4 touchdowns, but 3 picks. They come on the blitz. They're trying to make something happen right here and put San Diego away.
Well, one of the things talking to the Chargers on Friday was this. They addressed their offensive line situation. They went out and they spent a lot of money on the offensive line. The second thing that they have to address is very simple. And it was evident in John Elway's touchdown pass. The defensive line situation, they have to go out next year somewhere, somehow, and get themselves a pass rusher, a legitimate one.
And hopefully June Jones will be the coach here to be able to do that. I think they would be wrong not giving him a chance to take that interim term off and let him handle this football team.
He has certainly been impressive as the interim coach. A loss tonight would make him 3-3. Wheelahan on 3rd and 10. Too strong for Freddie Jones, who laid out but couldn't get it.
Yeah,
3 and out again for San Diego.
I mean, the coverage on that play with Ray Crockett was super, and you have to, I mean, really put the ball on the money in order to make a catch here. Take a look at Crockett. He's got Charlie Jones. Charlie Jones goes inside. Look at this coverage. It's perfect.
That's right. That's where you give the defense a lot of credit, and you say the quarterback put it the only place he could.
Bennett to kick it away to Gordon.
Don't hold, don't hold, don't hold.
Gordon at the 39. Into San Diego territory to the 45-yard line. A 16-yard return after a punt of 44. The undefeated Broncos in control, 28-10.
Yeah, almost every play and bring everybody else in. Watch Junior Seau. They're trying to block him with Griffith, number 29. He gets by him, gets a piece of Terrell Davis. Junior Seau back in through, throws Griffith away, makes the play. I mean, if you look at what Junior Seau does, he is in on almost every single play on defense. How do you block him? Send 2 people. 3 people? Tell me where to start.
He's
Go
just
4 people?
an absolute wonder. Junior against Griffith on the last drive, and Griffith is a terrific blocking back. Elway in the flat to Rod Smith. Taken out by Jimmy Spencer.
You know what Shanahan was talking about Rod Smith, and he said, you know, what an accomplished receiver he has become. If you look at him on that last, when you see the catch he makes, as soon as he makes sure he has the ball, that quick turn to get back upfield to pick up 2 or 3 yards.
Well, we also asked John and Mike about the difference in this football team, and he is one of them. Rod Smith has really developed into a big play threat. And also Ed McCaffrey has raised his level of play. So the wide receivers have really improved their play, which I think has helped the offense completely.
Elway has not missed this half. 7 out of 7. Make it 8 out of 8. Nice hands catch by Smith. Spencer takes him out of bounds again, but he reaches the San Diego 22. And now it looks like that San Diego defense might start to be a little tired and maybe a little discouraged, and that's natural.
They've been very effective stopping the run, which is what they want to do. The problem that Joe Pascal's defense is faced with is, and we mentioned it, 3 of the 4 guys playing in the secondary are not the original starters. And Mike Shanahan's not foolish. He's going to go to an area where he can pick on and get yards.
And Junior is the only starting linebacker. Terrell Davis. Absolutely nothing there. He's been held to 54 yards on 17 carries tonight. His low this season had been the 69 yards he got in the first meeting with San Diego.
But you know, when you look at this whole entire football game, and I'm not going to say if San Diego loses this game, they lost in their first half, but I'm going to tell you something attributed to it. when you look at as many turnovers as they had in the first half, the field position that they had against Denver, and they could not put any points on the board. They put 3 points up.
Offense has been the killer for them. 3rd and 2. Elway muscles it downfield, and there's a flag on this play. It's going to be interference against somebody as Shannon Sharp made the catch and went out of bounds inside the 5.
And that somebody is Shannon Sharp.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
A penalty flag on the field.
In fact, there are 2 penalty markers down.
We have 2 fouls, both against Denver. We have holding, number 69, offense. We have offensive pass interference, number 80, offense. We're going to decline the holding penalty and accept the 10-yard offensive pass interference. It'll be 10 yards and 3rd down.
There goes number 84, Shannon Sharp, working down the field, working against Greg Jackson. Now he slides on over, and I got to be honest with you.
Well, they called it on Rod Smith.
It had to be on Rod Smith because Shannon Sharp wasn't within 5 yards of anybody. And
so after the penalty, it's 3rd and 12. 4-man rush. They go right on the slant, and Willie Green makes the catch down to the 19. He's got the first down.
Pass complete to number 85, Willie Green.
And the first catch by Willie Green, only his 6th of the season.
42, Greg
You know, John
Jackson.
Elway is not unselfish, Joe. He'll throw it to anyone.
yeah, as long as you're a wide receiver and you line up, you got a
You're
chance of
open.
catching it.
And you're open.
And I think this is indicative of what the Broncos have been about all year. Willie Green comes in, he makes a big reception. When you talk to this football team, they don't feel like they have backups at any position. Every player feels like they can play at the level of a starter, and that is what I think has made him so good.
Davis looking for running room, and there isn't it. He gets a couple close to the 16.
You know where this starts at, Mike and Joe, yesterday when Mike Shanahan sat in there, and he said to his football team in training camp,
Along with number
be
37,
prepared to
Marquis
play
Harrison.
without John Elway. Be prepared to play without Shannon Sharp. Be prepared to play without Terrell Davis. And this team is prepared to play with whomever's on that football field.
I still don't believe you can be too prepared to play without Terrell Davis. I don't care who
100%.
you are.
Well, they might be prepared, but they wouldn't be real happy about it. That is going to be the end of the 3rd quarter. Terrell Davis has been held in check, but the Broncos are on top, 28-10. Really begun to discuss the possibility of an undefeated season, and Mike Shanahan has taken, I think, a wonderful tack on it. He's using it as a motivator for his team for the rest of this regular season schedule.
He really is. And when you look at this football team and you talk to the different players, and you kept saying, everyone we talked to, Joe said yesterday, well, have you thought about undefeated season? The guys, there's a little smile. No, we haven't. Yes, they have.
Of course they have. And the other thing is, too, is with Terrell Davis on the verge of breaking a rushing record, the possibility of an undefeated season, it's helped Mike Shanahan keep the focus of this football team because as of tonight, they're really back in the same situation they were back in 1996 when they had clinched the opportunity to be able to be in the playoffs and quite likely host all the way through.
And that's when he began to rest players, and he said he's not going to do that anymore. Elway with a double pump intended for McCaffrey, and it's out of bounds. It's a question the Broncos will have to answer from here on, of course. Here's John Elway on the possibilities.
We can't be 16-0 if we're not 12-0. And so there's no sense for us to look at a 16-0 before we go 12-0, 13-0, 14-0. And I think that people get tired of that answer. The media gets tired of it because they think it's boring. But it's the truth that if we take care of our business and take care of each game, then we got a chance to do that. But we can't look that far out. We have to look at what's in front of us right now.
Well, of course we get tired of it, John. We want you to come out and say we're going to be 19-0. A little cannon fodder for the mill. Elway with time, dumps it off to Davis, too high, incomplete.
Pass incomplete, intended for Terrell Davis.
What do they have left on their plate? Kansas City at home, then at the Giants, at Miami, and Seattle at home. If it comes down to that December 21st Monday night game against Miami, will that be a show or what?
How many members of the 72 team are going to be on the sidelines in Miami, do you think? You know, they usually crack out the champagne about this time of year because everybody's lost a game. They got to keep it on ice for a while.
Jason Elam has not missed all year long. He still hasn't. 18 for 18.
Is good by Jason Elam.
And the count rises to 31-10. Denver in control. It's brought to you by Intel, makers of the Amazium Pentium processor. By Isuzu, we don't make cars because life is too big for cars. By MasterCard, there are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. By Residence Inn by Marriott, room to relax, room to work, room to breathe. And by MCI 5-cent Sundays. Pay the least on the day you call the most. 31-10, Denver trying to go to 12-0. San Diego entertaining thoughts of trying to get back to 500 before the second half. A short kick, that's a free ball, and covered and knocked out of bounds. Tony Gator just got to it, and San Diego will keep it. Coming up next on SportsCenter, it's Dan Patrick and Kenny Mayne. A new college hoops #1 team, our NFL Blitz in the conversation with John Elway. That's followed by NFL Primetime with Chris Berman and Tom Jackson. All the highlights of all the day's games. That's Brian Greasy. And if this team goes undefeated,
stay awake, Brian.
That will mean both of these teams have had a quarterback named Greasy, and what a shock, they're related.
The only problem was this one wasn't born when his dad did it.
And Bob said if it comes to that, he will be in his Dolphin shirt on the sideline rooting for Miami to stop that streak. Fletcher out to the 24.
I think all the way back when I was drafted by the Miami Dolphins in 1971 and could possibly have been a part of that football team. My choice not to be a part of it. Oh, nice move, Joe.
Well, you were part of a couple pretty good ones. Wheelahan dragged down from behind, caught by the left end Neil Smith.
That's really the first time that the defensive line has really done much to Craig Wheelahan. He's really done his own damage tonight by throwing the ball to the wrong people. But the offensive line as a whole, I think, has done an exceptional job for San Diego.
That offensive line they have assembled has been terrific. Wheelahan on third down, trying to keep it alive. Tries to run for it. He's very close, just across the ESPN 1st and 10 line, and he will have the first down.
To Bill Romanowski. Gain of 2 yards, and it
He will
Chargers
not
first
remind
down.
you of Elway scrambling, but he got the job done.
No, but I'll tell you, one of the impressive things about this Denver football team, and I know we've talked a lot about how San Diego's offensive line has done a great job, but you look, it's near the end of this ball game. There's 13 minutes left to go. They're up by 21 points, Denver. This defensive line doesn't even slow down.
No, this is a very intense football team. Fletcher underneath, kept his balance. Another first down, or close to it. Ma'atanovasa chasing him from behind to make the stop.
There's an example. There is an example. Tanavasa, who is a defensive lineman, makes the play 10 yards down the field. And then Keith Traylor, number 94, is the guy that's putting the heat on. When I said they don't stop, here comes Traylor up the field. Ma'atanovasa comes up and makes the tackle.
Wheelahan dumps it to Fletcher again. It's the Wheelahan and Terrell Fletcher show.
This looks a little bit more like the drives in the first quarter.
Yes, it does.
When they had something going. I mean, you know, it was decision processes that hurt Craig Wheelahan more than anything.
Greg Robinson indicating to his team that they've got to face the hurry up. Fletcher will carry this time and takes it out to the 46-yard line. Of course, Denver not only clinched a playoff spot today, but because Oakland lost to Washington, they clinched the division. And they hadn't even played their 12th game of the year. That's how dominant they have been in a very, very difficult AFC West. Here comes the blitz. Wheelahan hangs in there, and another great catch at the sideline by Still.
Pass complete to number
You look at the wide receivers of the San Diego Chargers, Charlie Jones, Brian Still, Michael Ricks. And you've got some guys who can make plays for you. I mean, Brian let one get away from him early, but again, goes up, does a nice job making the extension, making the play. You know, they just have to find somebody at the trigger. And hopefully they, you know, drafting Ryan Leaf, they expect him to be the quarterback who can get it done.
Wheelahan on the screen. That was a tight end screen to Freddie Jones. And a marker goes down at the end of this play. Could have had guys downfield illegally on that one.
penalty flag on the field.
They do. Any question, are we going to see this guy the rest of the year?
Maybe. Maybe you'll see him, I think, towards the latter part of the season. But right now, I would say no.
An eligible man downfield on the pass, number 64. Offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Kendall Jaycox was just one of the guilty parties.
June Jones made the switch to Craig Wheelahan from Ryan Leaf because he felt like his defense was playing so well. And Leaf was struggling so much that he thought the team might turn against him because the defense was giving him opportunities to win, and Ryan in his play really wasn't helping this football team out. It was a good move sitting him down, giving him a chance to watch a bit. And you know, we've talked to Steve McNairn about how important it was for him to sit for a year or two.
Absolutely. 1st and 15 for Wheelahan. Dumps it off. Jones takes it down to the 44.
I think Ryan Leaf has all the tools to be able to play quarterback in this league. He's been humbled a lot by some of the things that have happened to him. And I think that the growth process from this point on will be a lot more productive for him as a quarterback.
One of the things for him, he had never been a big fish in a big pond. He had always been a big fish in a small pond. Growing up first in Montana, as Still makes the catch at the sideline. And then going to Washington State, which is not exactly the media capital of college football. And I think this is his first real exposure to all that media attention.
And then he came into the league and he said, hey, look, I'm going to do well. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be fine. He found out how tough this league really is.
As virtually every rookie quarterback except Dan Marino has found out. Ricks gets it down to the 29, maybe the 28, but there's another marker down back in the backfield, and it's a hold, and we'll come back.
Holding, number 64, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Jaycox on the hold. I think people forget how difficult it is for a rookie quarterback. You take somebody like a Hall of Famer, Terry Bradshaw. His was even way below Ryan Leaf's, and Terry Bradshaw had a pass intercepted every 9 throws of his rookie year. That is amazing.
Then he went on to win Super Bowls like they were everyday occurrences.
That's right. And that it is a learning process.
And thank heavens he shaved that goatee off.
He looks a lot better, doesn't he? Fletcher on the screen. He gets it back to the 38.
You know, you sit there, you're talking about San Diego and their offense and Leaf, and you look at Denver's defense. And what, you know, when you look at this team, you know why this team is really so good on defense?
No, tell me why, Paul.
Because they use like 8 defensive linemen. They interchange these guys all the time, and they're always fresh.
Wheelahan down the middle, too strong into triple coverage. We talked to Ryan Leaf about what happens when he next gets the opportunity to lead the Chargers.
When I get my next chance, it's going to be because I proved it and I deserve to be out on that football field, and my teammates want me out there, and the coaches and this organization wants me out on that football field. And that's, I think, the most important thing. You know, I had to earn my way in high school, I had to earn my way in college, and it was, you know, it was nice to get that opportunity right away, but, you know, I want to be able to earn it. I want respect from everybody, the reason I'm out there.
And there is something about your teammates seeing you earn it that makes a difference in their mind, too.
Respect is much more important than being liked.
Young man, you're growing up.
And boy, you're right. He has all the tools. He's got a gun. And he's fearless, too. Wheelahan floats this one for Fletcher, too strong, out of bounds.
Pass incomplete. Intended for number 41.
The Chargers have been very fortunate with the development of Wheelahan. Had he played this year the way he played a year ago and come in relief of Ryan Leaf, it would have been even more of a disaster.
Right. Well, the booing you're hearing here is that they're down by 21 points with 9 minutes to go. They're inside the 40-yard line, and they're going to punt, perhaps.
Well, if I had a season ticket, I might agree with him.
Yeah, I'd do a little bit.
Bennett just hangs it high. Fair catch made it to 10. But the way this season has gone, maybe the best offense is to let your defense take it away deep in Denver territory. We'll be back in a moment. This is the Old Town area of beautiful San Diego, California.
Yeehaw!
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just singing right along.
Paul McGuire providing the sound effects. Denver takes over from the 10. Terrell Davis would like to rack up a few yards here in the closing stages of the game.
Terrell Davis. In on the tackle, number
The
42,
overhead
Greg
shots
Jackson.
of tonight's ball game provided by the Dell Aerial Cam high above Qualcomm Stadium for ESPN Sunday Night Football.
Like, you know, I think Mike Shanahan is very aware of where Terrell Davis is in the race to set an NFL rushing record. So I would expect him every time they get the ball to try and give him a chance to run it.
They've got 80 yards rushing tonight. The first time in 8 games that anyone has gone over 75 against the Chargers. That tied an NFL record. Set 4 other times since 1947. Elway throws. Smith with a catch. Gets it to the 25. And he's covered by Keith Burns.
You can't stop that.
No, don't you love this offense? Okay, you want to put 8 guys up on the line of scrimmage or 9 and take Terrell Davis out of the game? That's fine with John Elway.
But
That's absolutely fine.
Look at the quickness of John's arm. He sets in the pocket. He waits, and then he rockets it in just a tiny little space. Watch. He sets, double clutches, waits. There's the hole. There's the completion. Still just absolutely amazing.
You better catch it.
It'll hurt him if he doesn't.
8:21 to go in the ball game. After a very close first half, Denver has assumed control. Terrell Davis. First time tonight he's really had a chance to burst straight up the gut. Charles Dimry finally made the tackle.
Brought down by number 42, Greg Jackson.
Well, we talked about Terrell Davis when he's only allowed to make 1 cut. According to the coach, look at this. 1 cut. There it is. Right up the middle of the field. The hole is there. The blocking's there. The run is there. He picks up 12 yards.
I think by now he gets a little latitude, don't you?
Well, yeah, you know, that defense, you're absolutely right. You said a little while ago, they are tired. They've been out there a long time.
Alex Gibbs, the offensive line coach, was the guy who told him, you get 1 cut. That's how we block for you. Davis hitting the backfield, struggles forward, got back to the line of scrimmage and no more. 21 carries, 70 yards tonight. The first meeting, 20 carries in 69. Davis on a pace to break the all-time NFL rushing mark. Set by Eric Dickerson. He wants the 2,000 yards. OJ had 1584 through 12. And now Davis at 1563. And the record 2105, and this will drop him behind pace with only 70 yards tonight. Elway. Davis on the receiving end this time takes it up to the 41. He had 95 tickets to tonight's game, did Davis. He is from Lincoln High School in San Diego. 45 were donated. He had to shell out for the other 50.
And they're not cheap.
And John Elway had 47 between the two of them.
They have a whole section.
Got a whole section. Oh, thank goodness they stopped leaking in this booth, too. I was about to drown.
Oh, come on. Will you? A little water never hurt you.
That's because it wasn't falling on you.
That's right.
3rd and 5. Sharp in motion. Elway, a strike, and McCaffrey couldn't hold it across midfield.
I'll tell you, this pass play here, it depicts John Elway all night long, waiting and waiting and waiting. He waited for McCaffrey to clear 2 people before he threw the ball. Watch how long he waits for this, for McCaffrey. He's looking to the outside. Ed McCaffrey, 87, coming under. Watch how long he waits. He waits, and then, bam, after 2 people cleared, he hits him. Should have caught it.
Tom Ruin, second in the AFC, averaging 46.6. Check it, second in the NFL. First time they punted since the end of the first quarter. Gator all the way back to the 1. Gator breaks it. Got it out to the 40. What a big mistake by Tony Gator, just picked up this week as the punt return man. Goes all the way back to the 1, but then bails himself out with a 39-yard return. Stadium for ESPN's Sunday night football. The Chargers with only 5:52 to work with, down by 3 touchdowns. Denver comes with a blitz. Jones, the tight end, will gain 4. And Denver not laying back, still coming hard.
Pick up a punt.
71 yards on the night for Terrell Davis. Twice he has been held under 100 by the San Diego Chargers defense. Only 4 times all year.
And, you know, you can just see the disappointment. Junior Seau and that defense has done a terrific job. Terrell Davis knows what's at stake. I mean, he understands the traditions and history of this game, and he'd love to be a part of it.
Wheelahan on the post to Still. Touchdown.
The pass complete to number 80, Brian Still.
A 47-yard strike to Still, his second touchdown catch of the year.
Nobody home in the middle of the football field. You wind up in double coverage with support. Take a look at this. There ain't anybody down the middle of the football field. You see the same thing that Wheelahan sees. Over the top of the linebacker, into the middle of the football field. Atwater can't get there. Braxton can't get there. Still has 6.
And they're out to go for 2. Which would get them within 13. Wheelahan on the fade, nobody home as Ricks went to the back of the end zone.
No good.
Craig Wheelahan with a strike to Brian Still that cut the lead to 15. An awful lot of movement on that one.
False start, number 74, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
You know, all you have to do is go back a week and look at the magical comeback that the Chargers had last week. So, I mean, crazier things have happened in this game, Paul. Don't look at me like that.
Who's he talking to? You?
I believe he was looking at you when he made that statement.
Hey, I really agree with him. You know, you got 5 minutes to go in a football game. Anything can happen.
Plenty of time.
Davis on the draw. Look at that defense swarm. Now, people might think this is crazy because the Broncos have scored 31 points. But this San Diego defense is something special. And San Diego is going to take a timeout. They didn't get much of this against the defense. They got it off of offensive mistakes.
The intensity of Junior Seau, we talked about it earlier. Watch the linebacker fill the hole. He's talking, he reads, he goes up in the hole. Griffith is there. He pushes him out of the way. Watch him spin back into the play and get back in on the tackle. Forgot to tell him the game is over. He doesn't think so.
No, it's not. Believe me. You know, you got to remember, John's thrown 3 interceptions tonight. They've done a good job. They've done a great job defensively. And offensively now, it looks like they've got a little bit of a rhythm again.
Junior won a big bet with his teammate John Carney in the Southern Cal Notre Dame game. Carney had to dye his hair black. If Seau had lost, he went to USC. He would have had to dye his hair blonde. I think we would all rather see John Carney with black hair than Junior with blonde hair.
No, I would have liked to have seen Junior with blonde hair. Thank you very much.
There's Carney. Yeah. Not tonight.
I'll tell you, the dye is not holding good.
He's got to keep it on all week. It's that shoe polish, that shiny shoe polish.
Yeah, he could do a pair of boots with his head right now.
Man,
all week he's got to keep it.
John can't wait to get rid of that. And I'm sure he can't wait for the next USC Notre Dame game next year either.
Well, Junior brought in the hair dyer. He, made sure it was done.
2nd and 14. Another big dose of Terrell Davis, and Rodney Harrison is right there after gain of a couple.
Well, you listen to Mike Shanahan talk about Rodney Harrison. He just says every time you watch film of the defense of the San Diego Chargers, Rodney Harrison just jumps up by making some kind of a play. He plays up around the line of scrimmage. He's like a linebacker, but yet we saw him cover Shannon Sharp down the field in the first quarter and make a big play.
You're putting 8, 9 guys up on that line of scrimmage. Don't be surprised to see Elway throw here.
He's facing a 3rd and 13. Sharp goes into the slot to the near side. Another blitz. And Elway throws out. McCaffrey had gone in. That will stop the clock with 3:59 to go in the game, and Denver will have to punt the ball back to San Diego. As Joe mentioned, remember the comeback last week against Kansas City, the biggest comeback in the history of this franchise.
And they're probably going to wind up with pretty good field position, a short distance to go for a possibility. You're definitely in 4-down territory every time you get the ball back.
Tony Gator, the second-year man out of Miami, waits near his own 40 for the punt of Tom Ruin.
Wow, he hit it.
Returnable, however. Gator all the way back to the 22. Almost found a seam, dives out to the 35, a 12-yard return after a punt of 60. ESPN's Grade 8 college basketball tournament tips off Tuesday at 7:30 with the #1 ranked Huskies of Connecticut, led by Player of the Year candidate Richard Hamilton. They go against number 14 Washington. Then at 9:30, number 6 Kansas against the defending national champion Kentucky Wildcats. Wednesday at 7:30, Andre Miller in Utah against Rhode Island. And then number 4 Duke with Elton Brand against Mateen Cleaves and Michigan State.
I saw the end of that Duke game last night.
Isn't that something?
Was that a basketball game?
That was a great play that they executed to beat the Blue Devils. Wheelahan goes back to work against a 3-man rush. Throws too short, picked off by Gordon. Darian Gordon back to midfield, drilled from behind by Michael Ricks. But he gets it back to the 45, his second, the 4th of the year, and the former Charger shining tonight for his new ball club.
Wheelahan just tries to force this thing in. He thinks he's Brett Favre here on this throw. He thinks he can just rocket this thing in. There's no reason to go down the field this far. You got plenty of time. I mean, I don't know where he thinks he's going with it anyway. He's going to try and squeeze it into a Brian Still who's not even running. I mean, he still realizes he's a decoy. He's hanging out there. Ricks comes in and just knocks the living daylights out of him. Here comes Ricks. He comes in and just blasts Gordon.
Well, Ricks is like a linebacker. He's 6'5", 237. And that should have about done it. Derek Lavelle will come in as the backup running back, and he takes it down to the 40 where Steve Tovar makes the tackle. And Terrell Davis's night is done. 23 carries, 73 yards.
Well, this is one of the things we talked to Terrell about yesterday. Is Terrell Davis saying, hey, it's not important. Let's win the football game. And it's really not important that I get 100 yards or 200 yards as long as we put up a victory.
Yeah, but he's back in the ball game now.
Yeah, I know he's in, but what I don't know why he's in the ball game. I really don't.
I don't know why he's in after he came out.
No, I told you this before. I think that Mike Shanahan is very conscious of what's at stake for Terrell Davis. And also, I mean, he talked about it. Hey, I'm not sitting my guys down. I don't care. They're going to play him. There's a couple things that they're after. They're after a rushing title, they're after a scoring title, and they're after a Super Bowl as well as an undefeated season.
One of only 2 teams since 70 to score 400 points through 12 games. And Joe, it was your 83 Redskins that was the other one. I mean, you know what it's like to be on a scoring machine.
Right. No, I'm telling you, this so much of it is the total package. The defense has to score. Special teams have to score. We had Mike Nelms back there as a kick returner who was sensational for us. Our defense scored. I mean, we had a giveaway-takeaway ratio of plus 42, which is just, it was a phenomenal football team to be a part of.
And I think Mike Shanahan is very right to be aware of his players' potential for records. These things are important to guys certainly down the line. Davis stumbles forward, may have gotten a yard to the 39.
You know, I would totally agree with you guys except for one thing. When I said that Shanahan said, you know, we could play, something this season we may lose Elway, which they did. We may lose Sharp, which, you know, we may lose McCaffrey. We may lose Terrell Davis. This team loses Terrell Davis, and offensively they got some problems.
Yeah, but you can't think about that, Paul. No, I mean, you play your players.
Joe, I understand what you're saying, but you're at 3 minutes of the ball game, and you're up by 15 points, and I just feel that there's no reason for this guy to be in this football game. I don't care what the records are. The record is getting to the playoffs, winning the playoffs, and winning the Super Bowl.
Well, you also understand coaches. I think Mike Shanahan is looking at this saying, look, we're only 2 touchdowns ahead. This guy never fumbles. He's number 1 in the NFL. I want him in there to hang on to the football.
You just did it. He never fumbled. He just did it.
I know. He said it. He said the F word.
You got to see me on free throws.
I have.
Anytime a guy is 12 for 12, I make sure he misses the next one unintentionally.
When you get a word in on a basketball telecast, I listen.
Well, yeah. Not many of those. 459 handles.
Here comes the kiss
He's
of
not
death.
turned it over. Come on, Terrell, hang on to that pill. I refuse to be responsible for another one. Elway had it batted down. On 3rd and 5, Norman Hand.
Broken up by number 96, Norman Hand.
Now here comes Jason Elam for a 57-yard attempt. For him, this is a chip shot. Having kicked the 63 that would have been good from maybe 66 or 7. He has not missed a field goal this year. Trying for a perfect season just as much as his team is. And now Denver wants a timeout.
Now you're looking at a record, you know, you're going to punt now. But, I mean, I was just thinking about, you're looking at a record, here's a guy that hasn't missed a field goal, and you're going to have him kick a 57-yard.
Well, he made a 60.
On grass on a humid night. I don't know.
He's not doing it. They're going to punt the ball. Thank you. Here, keep your record going.
Yeah, give me some of those 14-yarders, all right?
Yeah, these 57-yarders. Thank you very much for taking me out.
Mike Shanahan has a lot of fun with Jason Elam. He says he terrorizes him in practice and makes him kick the ball farther and harder. And Elam getting a big laugh out of this. The storyline tonight, the first half was a disaster except for statisticians. 8 turnovers. Elway, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks, and he lost a fumble. Terrell Davis with 74 rushing yards tonight, projected at 2,084, which would leave him short of Eric Dickerson's all-time record. Ruin did his job. He just got it out of there. And even better, he got it inside the 5 after a 34-yard punt caught in the air by Darius Johnson. Good job by Tom Ruin.
What a beautiful punt. I mean, you put the ball up in the air, you let your guy go down and catch the ball. Yeah, you're happy. You should be happy.
Oh, that's what you talk about when special teams are a part of it. Those are the kind of things that sometimes get overlooked in the overall aspect of a game. The efficiency of a special team guy going down in the ball on the 5-yard line.
You had the longest punt of your career here, didn't you?
Right. And don't you ever forget it either.
Yeah,
How
but
long was it?
82 yards.
Yeah, but
there should be an
how far of
asterisk
it
there,
was it in
shouldn't
the air? How long was it in the air?
Oh, 38, 40. That's a long story.
The guy ran backwards, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Johnny Robinson.
And it counted for the punt. Wheelahan from his end zone. Fletcher on another short dump off gets it out to about the 11.
See, on mine, I never gave the guy a chance to return it.
How can you return a 1-yard punt?
That was kicked into row 7.
Tackle number 25, Darius Johnson.
Clock running, 2:34 and counting for Wheelahan. They need 2 touchdowns. Fletcher again. Fletcher out to the 19-yard line.
To Terrell Fletcher.
With Wheelahan's emergence, this offense might be a lot different. and certainly would be if
In about
the
yards.
big running back Natron Means was still here, if he hadn't broken a bone in his foot.
Well, I think Wheelahan had a chance to have the game of his life tonight. I mean, he had some opportunities. The game got a little bit bigger for him. He tried to do too much on a couple different instances, and it created problems.
Fletcher again nailed this time by Darius Johnson. Junior, the Warrior, who brought it all again tonight, and not enough for his defense. We have reached the 2-minute warning in San Diego.
We don't build commuter cars or get you to work fast pinstriped cars.
Catch you up on everything. For Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire, Solomon Wilcox, and our entire crew, this is Mike Patrick. Good night from San Diego. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.